right. A little something special for the WGGBMUCC. It's a lyrical sculpture in the sand that I carve. This is Flash on the mic, now on the Algarve. From 40 to 60, we are on the attack. If I can just get some vitamin I from my back. Foot on the line, yeah, I'm ready to go. Or did I just pull a muscle? Hold on for a moment. Play it cool, just act like I'm young. Got flicks on my wrist and lyrics on my tongue. 10 more years left to go. Tricks from the past and a buttery flow. A little slow off the start, I like to call my speed brisk. The sunshine glints off my slow-moving disc. You know how it goes with the sand between my toes. I got none of the pivots, but all the throws. Yeah, I got some dodgy knees. Disc in my hand and the sun in the sky. My dad bod goes jiggle and my hucks they fly. The spirits are rising like a disc on the breeze, going miles out of bounds to the Portuguese seas. I played a point, yeah, I need a sub and a good long soak in an XL tub. Don't need to run anymore, I'm one of 14 handlers. Happy Gilmore this disc like we're all Adam Sandlers. I'm slow off the start, I like to call it brisk. The sunshine glints on my slow-moving disc. You know how it goes with the sand between my toes. We got none of the pivots, but all the throws. Alright, let's finish this off. My 6'2" still works in the bar. I can see from miles. Got drinks on my radar. Portimão party is the place we flee for the friends we see in these great memories. Yeah, I feel the spirit as I pull every sinew. Shatter my knees, yet we're gonna continue. Take this hand, better yet carry me from the beach to the bar, better yet to the sea. I'm slow off the start. I like to call my speed brisk. The sunshine glints off my slow-moving disc. You know how it goes with the sand between our toes. We got none of the pivots, but all of the throws.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the World Great Grandmasters Beach Ultimate Club Championships. The Golden Sands of Portimão, the venue for our next game between Germany's young legends and Notsuo from Houston, USA. It's, I must admit, a rather sodden and bedraggled Benji Reese this morning, joined by Hannah Pendlebury, who seems to have somehow escaped the worst of the rain.
I have a very tiny pink dotted umbrella, which for some reason someone's put on top of our speakers, so I'm just going to grab that off of the valuable electrical equipment and put back on the floor where it belongs. But it's a trusty tiny umbrella. You don't need much. You just need something you can control in this extremely feisty breeze as you waddle your way down to these wonderful pitches, which are less golden today, more sort of like a toast colour as they've become dampened by the elements. But the wind is terrifying. Up on the top of the cliffs, you can just about walk around.
Yeah, it is fierce conditions out there, so maybe not conducive to playing your best ultimate, but it's going to have to be a grind, I think, as that one is turned over on the end zone line. So Notsuo with a chance for an early break, and Don Tom finds Katie fourth for the 1-0 lead. That was quick.
Well, expect that kind of ruthless behaviour whenever there's a turnover near the end zone. Short field opportunities should not be missed in this matchup. I was thinking, Benji, ahead of this game, the level of wind that we're experiencing, it might actually be easier to score upwind than it is downwind for some of these athletes. It's that idea we saw yesterday, a lot of people not adjusting to the downwinds, sending things far too early, leading their receivers far too much. And actually, if you can keep a low release that doesn't pop up on the wind, it might be easier almost for it to sort of sit and hang out on a wire. But of course, with the level of wind, it creates a bit more of a challenge. It's an interesting one, but first one on the board for Notsuo in very remarkably fast fashion.
I must admit, I'd probably still rather be going downwind, but I do see your point. It is, you know, we really have seen teams struggle to weigh up that breeze.
And you can see it's almost pulling our flags off of the poles on the far side of the field. Really is gusty out here, but nice to see Notsuo. Not the most obvious Houston name.
It is Houston backwards, as you were telling me, and all of a sudden it made a lot more sense. Young legends trying to swing across. And then here's the put downwind, and as you mentioned, that one just kept on going.
Yeah, it might end up being a bit of wise playing for yards out here on the sand this morning.
Yeah, I mean, playing the field position game, maybe not as important on beach as it is, say, outdoors, when obviously the fields are a little bit shorter here, more compressed, but in the teeth of this fierce wind, it's not necessarily a bad strategy. But
we also saw teams doing it when we watched the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships with all the sprightly youngsters running around on the...
Huck and D, always a good strategy. I mean, not always, but...
It's a bold strategy, Benji. See if it pays off. Or if either team will use it here.
Nice little force through there. Katzenbach. Philadelphia legend.
Is he old enough to participate in Legends, Benji?
I don't think he's quite that old yet, but I'll use it in the metaphorical rather than literal sense on this occasion. Turnover there, gives the disc back to the young legends. Looking for options. Logan tries to get it into the end zone, but that's not going to connect. All of our games we streamed yesterday went to 13. I would probably wager that we're not necessarily going to reach that today.
We might, Benji, see our first appearance of a timed half.
Ooh.
They do exist in these formats. 45 minutes long is the games, and 25 minutes is where we have the timed half.
So trapped on that coffin corner, trying to break it through the center of the pitch, but there's nothing there. Hertel picks up into the end zone, finds an option, and it just bounces out of the hands of Volker Schmidt.
I tell you what, Benji, I'm grateful to be in our little commentary mini pavilion rather than out there on the sand or on top of our storage container today.
Yes, I think that's the best relief, is that we are at sand level rather than being really exposed to the elements up there.
But you can see how much of a grind this is out there on the sand. You're going to be wanting to front on defense, as young legends are. Difficult to put it in this wind.
Trying to find a way to get it downfield. This is a really floaty one. Trying to give players a chance at it. Towed in, and is going to be a completion as well. Good footwork there, bit of toe drag swag from Eichstadt, but the reset into the center just bobbles out of the grasp. There's an opportunity now for the deep put, and they capitalize.
Well, at long last, that just sending it into the space does pay off, but a very grindy point there, Benji.
100%. It does feel that that is the way that a lot of the points are probably going to go here, as teams probably take a little bit of time to adapt to the conditions.
Well, I was wondering to myself if we might see this game pushed back a little bit. We do have a very light schedule here on the sands. 4 games a day, 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. Of course, the teams will each be playing one of those slots, giving themselves a nice, leisurely pace. But the weather forecast for today isn't going to be getting too much better. In fact, it's going to get even heavier on the rain from about 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock local time here in Portimão.
Oh,
it's going to be very heavy wetness.
So Pirelli, Klaus Schunk gets ready to pull. Nick's trying his best to marshal the sideline so we can get a good view of the field on the cameras. Don't have the high cam up at the moment because of the inclement weather. There's the high release put downwind. Superbly judged and weighted straight in for the score.
My goodness, well, we waited so long for young legends to punch that one in, and Natsuo just dominant on that front. Yes. And that's going to really pay dividends. You don't want to be spending too long running around. Is that Katie fourth on the back end of that one again?
It is indeed.
Well, lovely to finally watch the... Oh, well, actually, I don't know which is the technically younger and older of the two twins.
Good point, actually. I must admit that I don't either. The twin, of course, sister? Being...
Are they twin sisters? Or am I getting that confused? Because there's so many ultimate twins.
You know what? I'm not sure, but if we call them sisters, it's definitely at least technically right.
Oh no, they're definitely sisters. Beck's fourth, of course, who were responsible for that Eurostars program. But Katie has been a longer-standing resident in Texas, of course, British originally, and a veteran on beach, for sure. Indeed, I believe she did she come across for Dubai again, alongside her sister?
What, back in 2015?
Indeed.
She might well have done, you know.
That's reaching into my my brain for some facts, which is not always the most reliable source. But either way, a wonderful athlete and very fun to watch, especially on sand.
Rudy Vital picks up from the pool, and immediately he's looking deep, and he's looking too deep as that one goes actually onto the boardwalk, I think.
Yeah, had a look at the offense of Natsuo and thought, oh, yeah, let's do a bit of that. But not quite the same level of execution.
Very much the playing for field position, I think. Katzenbach marches slightly forlornly to the front of the end zone. Eichstadt with a riser that Furigay can't wheel in. That disc picked up speed quick. Here's the high release backhand down the line. It's not going to work either for Young Legends. It is so treacherous, the conditions out there. And because both teams know how hard it is to work it into the wind, they're sitting underneath their matchups generally and just trying to force them away to the disc and see if they can tempt the opposition into that big, deep look.
We did see some more penetrating passes for the upwind looks of Natsuo. They seem to have gotten the furthest upwind so far.
And that one is well weighted for Young Legends. Vital shooting it across the end zone. And Ingo Hertel, who has got some speed in the wheels still, herring across the end zone, chopping his feet inbounds, and Young Legends level us up at 2 apiece. So 2 apiece here, 10 minutes in. Games played to 45 minutes, or first to 13.
And I have to say, Benji, I agree with you. It doesn't look like it's going to get anywhere near the score cap unless the wind drops or the teams can find some magic on the upwind flow. And you can't help but feel that downwind advantage. It was a break to start us off for Natsuo. That might be so crucial here.
I think it's very much, if you win the flip, you probably pick the right-hand end zone.
Oh yeah, it would be silly not to. Unless you have the best upwind line in the world.
That one, 2 players lay out, and Katie Fall comes up with it again. I mean, I think Natsuo have found something that works for them offensively, and it might just be hucking it to Katie Forth.
Well,
there is a little bit of a question about this.
Called as a goal by Birgit Immen in the end. But yeah, a 5'5" tall, speedy player is Katie Forth. Of course, plays her club ultimate for Showdown, the women's side. But I'm not sure how much senior level she plays these days, because of course Club Nationals just about getting underway in San Diego at the moment, which I believe is having enviable weather, Benji, compared to these blustery, soggy conditions here in Portimão.
I mean, I certainly hope they're getting better weather than we are. But that's the challenge that both teams and all the teams at this tournament have to face. They've all got to play it equally. So I also think on beach, you're ready for the wind, which is obviously very prevalent in these sorts of conditions.
Indeed, and it's sort of a guarantee whenever you're on the coast. The nature of coastal winds is of course all to do with the dynamics of the difference in temperature between the sea and the land mass as they absorb the sun differently.
Of course, you, like me, are also based on the coast of the UK, so we are, you know, I don't want to say experts, but we're used to it. Vital then, trying to put a little bit of air underneath that one, but the blade takes it beyond the intended target of Volker Schmidt. Yeah,
we're both quite good at throwing in wind, Benji. I'd say that's probably the advantage we gain by living by the sea.
Right. Although I have subsequently lost that advantage by never throwing. But yes, correct. Once upon a time, maybe.
Practice makes perfect. You're never too old to get back into it.
Trying to look deep. That one blades very early and acrobatically palmed away there.
Volker Schmidt with the block and a big arcing one into the end zone.
Hertel again is the target. He often is on those deep shots.
Yeah, a little bit of an overthrow there, but he is very speedy. He says that he looked for the speed he had when he was young. Apparently he's found a way to regain it.
Travel called on the initial put-in. And then another violation, I think.
Well, Natsuo clearly keen to get this one underway.
Yeah, score is up. Nosuo are up 3-2, so scoreboard just taking a little bit of time to update in the wind and rain.
Our wonderful crew dotting around, making sure all of our equipment stays safe and dry enough, of course.
Yeah, it's metaphorical firefighting you've got to do on a day like today, I think.
Well, no literal firefighting. You're preventing yourself from electrical fires, which of course is one of the big things when it snows in the UK, Benji, that seems to cause havoc with the train system. It's when the snow starts to melt and gets in the electrical systems, just dripping away.
Oh, I assumed it was just because we were useless.
Well, we don't quite have the ability to deal with those inclement conditions, unlike the North Americans and the Germans. Although I'm not sure how much snow they get in Texas.
So first pass underneath, a little bit of flow to Katzenbach, faking it off and now trying to thread it through. Lovely little bit of float on that throw to Husak. Now looking deep for the appropriately named Kimberly Beach.
Oh, nominative determinism for sure. Can she punch it in? No, takes a reset.
Beach back to Katzenbach. Katzenbach to the break side, finds Greg Husak. First Artwind scorer of the game goes to Nosuo.
Yeah, that was really lovely flow. I particularly enjoyed that lead pass that was collected by Greg Husak. And we see another look at that Kimberly Beach action roll to keep possession alive in front of the end zone line. So Natsuo giving us a little bit of a masterclass of how to play against this wind. And a well-earned first break. Beach, of course, hailing from... no, I'm not going to try and say I know how to pronounce this, but Schuylkill Haven, I think.
Yep, sure.
Schuylkill Haven, Pennsylvania. Either way, a Philadelphia girl now. And plays for DC Scandal. But actually represented the Mixed Masters for Italy. Sorry, in Italy, Dubai and France, all for the USA, of course. And says her sporting hero is Alex Duchy Geskia because of his game knowledge and because he can bring a team together.
Yeah, Geskia kind of made his name really coaching out Revolver on the West Coast before moving east and picking up as the coach of DC Scandal.
Coaching, of course, such a key part of championship success. We don't see any with clipboards on the side, and of course, you might have 14 hands on your team, but you also have lots of people with years and years of ultimate experience, Benji, who can help with tactical adjustments.
Yeah, certainly the collective brain trust of these various teams. Imagine it's got a lot of IQ behind it.
The only challenge is probably getting one or two voices.
Yeah, working out, you know, because people are going to have different ideas, how you can bring the right ideas through and together, and yeah, still keep everyone valued in that unit. Dumps off to Achenbach. He wants to shoot deep, but that one is blading right into the hands of Katie Forth. Here's the deep shot, goes through the end zone, but I guess playing a little bit of the field possession game there.
Yeah, nice read underneath that one by Katie Forth. Unfortunately, that throw deep for Young Legends didn't have quite enough pace on it.
So just taking their time and bringing this one to the front of the end zone. Schunk gets it underneath, and Pirelli then finds Achenbach.
Having fun with these German pronunciations, Benji?
I'm trying my best.
You are, and it sounds fun.
Achenbach. That one is blading towards the far side. Hermiking very nearly got there, but just couldn't quite keep her footing in the sand.
Well, Hermiking, a previous ebook champion in Calafé with the Master Mix team.
And that one tried to skim it down the sideline. I don't think it ever actually came back in. Certainly Kolstad is signalling that the disc is going to come right away back up the pitch on the throw from, again, another appropriate name from the beach, Sandy Ganzel.
Oh, wow. Enviable field position for Young Legends.
This one floated to the end zone. Forth is there again.
Yep, shame not to see any of the Germans back each other up. Just Forth standing in the space as we see a racy shot go over the head of Don Tom.
Again, we have seen that teams are not necessarily hesitant to put it in that direction. Schunk's got that kinesio tape going down his right calf.
Yeah, we didn't see too much tape action yesterday, but it's on the second day of the championship starting to emerge and make an appearance.
Needs to make sure there's a lot of tread in those tyres. That one zipped through to Hermiking. Hermiking looking for the dish off. Forth maybe thinks she got a hand in there, and she certainly did, but it might not have left her hand yet. She'd immediately gone deep trying to pick up the score.
Well, she is hungry for goals. At the moment, it's been involved in 3 of the 4 Notsuo scores so far.
Accepted call there, so disc stays with Hermiking. Hermiking to Kolstad. Leading towards the far side, Hermiking has it. Back to Achenbach.
You can see the timing of Young Legends starting to really improve here. There was a bit of clustering around the frisbee for a while. There's a bit of a close dump cut.
So that one is on a high stall, ripped into the wind, and there's no one on the receiving end.
Yeah, Jens Achenbach is really close to the disc when he's trying to move around and get free. Normally, that's a much easier option because you can just jink a teeny tiny pass, but with the wind and the defenders fronting, making it quite difficult and just clustering and closing off the channels.
So the Americans look deep. And in the intermediary, here's Fourth. Fourth trying to float one out in front of Quatch, but just didn't quite get that to hold up enough.
Yeah, a nice option though, and just a little bit too far.
There's the jack, and as soon as it left his hand, almost before even, Lolgan knew that he had not got that one right.
Yeah, having moved across to Portimão, you'd think Lolgan would have a bit more practice in these high wind sand conditions.
There is a little bit of me that finds it quite reassuring when you know players have been playing 40 years and they still struggle with this kind of wind. That one, Fourth lays out to secure possession. Got a continuation into the end zone and finds it as well. Fourth to Don Tom. Makes it 5-2 now to No Suo.
Yeah, with a layout and difficulty rating, I would say for a player of Fourth's calibre, 2 out of 10, just making sure that possession is retained.
Especially on the sand when you've got a nice cushy landing.
And look at the little cuddle there with Don Tom. A Houston man through and through. Currently working as an anesthesiologist, but seems to have put the uppers, I think, into this game so far. Started playing for Cut, of course, from Carleton College back in 1990.
Yeah, Carleton, one of the most famous ultimate universities out there in the States.
Indeed.
For such a small school, the fact that they regularly enter competitive teams into both Div 1 and Div 3 for both men's and women's is quite remarkable.
And for Tom, he actually played water polo through his undergraduate days and picked up frisbee continuously through med school, like a heartbeat almost.
Water polo is nuts, by the way.
Oh yeah.
It's brutal, and you have to be so fit.
It's basically drowning for fun.
It's not my idea of fun, I'll be honest, but whatever floats to your boat. I mean, hopefully it floats, I guess. Here's the deep shot from Young Legends. That is exceptionally bladey, and I think Hertel maybe just slightly overran it.
Oh, it did hit him straight in the hand, so I think he was there. Just a very difficult one to catch. A biscuit and a half from Volker Schmidt.
Delicious little inside flick into the hands of Husak. Husak gets the mark on the floor, but finds the break to Katzenbach. Katzenbach back to Eitstadt. Just a little 1-2 between the two of them there. Now Katzenbach ripping it deep, but the throw blades, and has that stayed up? Remarkable.
Well, all the spin in the world. I'm not sure what it bounced off of, but it must have been the defender.
Husak now in the red zone. Would he try and find a scoring shot? Still count's got to be rising. Threads it through to Eichstadt. Eichstadt looking for the inside break and couldn't get the connection.
Well, a golden opportunity missed on this darkening sand for the second upwind break for Nutsuo.
Yeah, Furiguy's the target, and it just never really gives him a shot. Comes out with so much zip.
But what I like about that is the spacing for Nutsuo as the Young Legends play for yards. But the way they keep their spread across the field, they don't cluster up the handler space. It's much better.
Yeah, not necessarily a surprise to see them try and play a bit of field position immediately, as that one in and out of the hands of Husak. Here's the high release blade downfield. I don't think it ever came back. I don't think it landed back in bounds. So they will get the field position at midfield here. Ambitious, difficult option there from Schmidt. If he gets the angle on it right, it comes back in bounds. At least you gain the field position. But if you don't, you lose a lot of ground.
I like the idea of the high release Benji, but perhaps a high release flick on the other side, trying to sit it out, make it more of a battle perhaps. You don't want to throw a hospital pass necessarily, but certainly something a bit nicer on your receiver.
Eichstadt brings it in. Breaking into the centre for Husak. Husak around. Furiguy goes to his knees to make sure disc stays up. Pop to Katzenbach and now to Eichstadt. Eichstadt into the end zone. Has the receiver at the front of the zone for the score. Greg Husak And that is 6-2 now to No Suo.
Did we just finny ourselves by our tent being in the way there, Benji?
Look, we're trying to make do with what we've got here, Hannah. Let's give ourselves a bit of a break.
Oh no, absolutely. It's just it's more of a tongue-in-cheek. But that is the whistle signalling the timed half. Our wonderful volunteer scorekeepers letting us know that 25 minutes of this game has expired. 27 by our time clock, but you can see there.
One of the tents has come a cropper.
Yeah.
Thankfully, our tent kind of has a proper floor in there, so it's a little bit harder to blow away.
They all have the same setup, I believe, Benji. These lovely little sort of hardwood flooring platforms.
Well, that's reassuring.
Some of the connecting sort of metal poles around the bottom and the top, I believe, have come apart in that particular one and been swept away by this breeze. But it shows just how difficult the conditions are right now. It is windy.
So No Suo up 6-2 here on last time's silver medalists, the young legends of Germany. Karlstadt picking out an underneath option. This one gunned into the center of the pitch. Read well by Felgner. Felgner pops that past the advancing defender into Schunk, and it just sneaks through the grip of Vital. It's funny what the wind can do. It just plays in your mind a little bit. Quatch to Brown, wearing the cycling style cap. Brown to Greaves. There's a discussion about whether that's up or down, I think. Gonna call it up. No Suo up 6-2, 1 point away from half.
Well, we had the time half, so this is the half point.
Tom on the end zone line finds Brown, and that is 7-2 to Houston. After what looked like an even game at the start, No Suo kind of have really found their rhythm and their range and are putting it on young legends at the moment.
Yeah, it's just that slight difference in terms of, I think, the confidence this Houston club are able to continue playing despite the conditions in a much more, I say, confident format. It's that way of being spread around the pitch out here on the sands, whereas young legends are sort of clustering together almost for strength, perhaps warmth, Benji, but it sort of closes down the space upfield when you're all sort of trying to slide together.
So these Houston jerseys, mostly white, they've got the logo in the center and they've got an American flag in the back in those tequila sunrise colors that are kind of associated with the city of Houston and the Astros specifically. Took a 1-0 lead in the American League Championship Series last night, much to my behest as a Yankees fan. The rain we had earlier has eased off and abated, but the wind is very much still in full effect.
Indeed, we've got some south by southwest gusts of up to 28 miles per hour. Or if you're going for your kilometers per hour, that would be 45.
I guess someone from Texas probably more than familiar with South by Southwest.
Might be one of the reasons I mentioned the direction of that wind, Benji.
I figured it was.
And, you know, giving it in both miles per hour and kilometers per hour, because, of course, stateside, they still use miles per hour.
Good old-fashioned freedom unit. What's the temperature in Fahrenheit at the moment?
It is a balmy 66 degrees Fahrenheit. Or for those of us who use the right side of the scales, it's 19 degrees.
So it's not particularly cold necessarily. There is a little bit of wind chill. That one pops right into the air and thunks off the chest of the thrower, Sherwood. Young Legends with a chance to break to start the second half. Hertel not quite into the end zone yet, but as he picks himself up, it is just popped into the end zone, and that is the Young Legends break.
Well, wonderful stuff. I think that's Stephenson with the goal. We almost figured it might be a break to start half because, of course, having come out with that downwind advantage for Natsuo, they got that first break on the board to start us off here. It's now not too late. With still, you know, about 15 minutes of game time left for Young Legends to surmount a comeback. But it all starts with this one. And Houston have been so good with the disc downwinds, very clinical on those deep shots, especially to fourth.
I just want to point out how amazing it was that just the gumption to throw the hammer there into the wind, hell of a catch, and then...
But perhaps better than these bladey backhands that have been high released out here on the field. At least with the hammer, Benji, it sits a little bit more softly rather than just that hard edge of the disc coming straight towards the face of the receivers.
This is a very good point, Hannah.
And we love a hammer.
Yes, it's also, I think, cooler a lot of the time. So the pull from Young Legends. Natsuo taking a little bit of time to work out who's going to pick up. Squatch looking for that high release backhand again. This time Achenbach's ready and waiting for it. Opportunity lost though on that occasion for Young Legends. Quatch picks up again, finds the break off the line, and then going for that outrageous inside-out backhand. Just got too much edge on that one, and it was out of the path of the intended target, Greaves, from Don Tom.
Yeah, a nice idea, but perhaps a little bit too saucy. We haven't really seen too much in terms of throwing creativity from Natsuo. They've just been able to space themselves nicely across the fields here. As we see an almost sassy looking photographer with a dashing anorak to keep himself dry.
That one is going to float. Who's going to get on the end of it? Just a standard reset swing pass in the end. Here's the deep shot from Vital, blading early out of the hand. Doesn't give the receiver a shot.
Yeah, it is, as per the comments in the chat, Benji, quite windy. And that's why the Germans are struggling to throw against it as they try and get one of those upwind breaks back that they trail.
This one high, and I just think Quatch never got a good sight of it. Sideline doesn't seem too unhappy with the decision for the put, partly because it was reasonably well executed, and also because, again, you'll happily take the field position.
Indeed, a bit of a high-risk, high-reward strategy coming out of Natsuo right now. So slowly bringing us back into play.
That one tries to zing it into the center of the pitch. Katie Forth was expecting it, and then punched in effortlessly after the turn by Natsuo. Ruthless in their efficiency.
And so, looking at these two teams, you can see Young Legends came with the full 20 stretch almost. The roster cap here is 20, minimum of 10. But at the moment, Natsuo are just retaining that extra bit of energy and just, I say, that confidence and calmness with the disc, Benji. But you'll notice how they're really trying to prevent Young Legends from throwing any kind of backhand upfield against this wind, trying to force them onto those bladey flicks that are so much more easily going to get turned over in the wind.
We've sent chips out of the shelter on the tent to set up Cam 2 in the usual position.
Yeah, just a little glimpse of her down there on your view from our wonderful pole cam that's now been extended up into the skies.
Hertel looking for options downfield. Instead, the swing's a little bit low, but well kept alive by Zormeyer. Hertel shooting into the end zone, and bang on the money there for Volker Schmidt for the score. A nice clean hold, that one, for Young Legends.
And at long last as well. We saw a bit of a grindy point in the previous one. 3 turnovers apiece for the hold for Notsuo. But that was much better, and just a little bit of calmness injected into the offense of Young Legends. This is more like themselves. But they got rather shut out in that first half towards the end.
Yeah, it was 2-2 at one stage, and then Notsuo really accelerated all the way up to 7s. But Young Legends have very much halted the charge in this second half. It might be too little too late, is the only problem. Especially in the shorter games. 45 minutes, the time cap comes on.
Absolutely, Benji. But there is, of course, the redemption factor in the schedule itself. These games will be it's not so much power pools as just repools. The top 2 positions will play against the bottom 2 teams of another pool corresponding across here. In this one, it does look like this is just jostling for the top spot. That win for either team here will carry across to the power pool stages.
Who else was in the initial pool with them?
They're alongside West Coast from Sweden and Mountain Beaches from Switzerland. So our wonderful volunteer scorekeeper pops the disc back into the centre field, clipboard in hand, and a little bit of us
in the booth. I waved just as soon as we cut away. Excellent timing, Benj.
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
Quatch, oh wow, and I mean just gets that over the reach of Kolstad for the score. But the German defender was millimetres away.
Well, it seems like Young Legends are starting to figure out what Houston want. It might be a little bit too late, but the full 177 centimetres of Tim Kolstad is just so close to getting a block in there. Plays for the Bravas team and Mir Sanmir. And it has a good medal collection of his own at the moment. He's got a bronze medal from Europeans with Germany Grandmasters Beach back from 2019 on these sands in Portimão. We had slightly better weather conditions at that point. But of course a lighter schedule back in 2019 for the Masters mixed teams. They finished one day earlier and therefore got to enjoy the scenes of the senior level with beers in hand.
Best way to enjoy it.
I couldn't agree more, Benji.
Although the beachfront bars that did a roaring trade here 3.5 years ago, this weather might not play into their hands as much. Achenbach. Just dishing off towards the far sideline, wants to get it up line from Lelgen, but it's not there. Notsuo wants to strike quickly, and maybe a little bit too quickly.
Yeah, that disc wasn't really ever going to reach Kimberly Beach, who had made a nice sort of cut, swooping across towards that front cone, using her speed to devastating effect, but it's just too hot for the thrower.
So Young Legends again trying to work the wind to their advantage. Hermeking to Achenbach, and it bounces out of his grip. Attritional stuff out here at the moment. Inside, oh sorry, a round break floats, and Hertel smacks it to the floor before the defender can get there. Receiver can get there. My brain's all over the place, as is the frisbee.
It's all right, we're being knocked around inside your nogs by the wind, I'm sure. A big one goes up for the German side, trying to hit Hertel again. But the medical doctor and philosopher with the Ministry of Health back home in Berlin unable to get a pulse on that possession.
I wondered if there was a stoppage, so I wondered if maybe there was a foul on the throw, but nothing doing. Sideline trying to get the early countdown to make sure there's movement before the disc's brought in. It's Katzenbach, swings to Sherwood. Ooh, that one is a little bit overthrown. Achenbach pilfers it away.
Well, he giveth and he taketh away. Jens Achenbach with a great defensive read.
Hertel, a little short one to Staffansson. Just playing it around the back at the moment. Hermiking, back to Achenbach. Wants the around break, but the layout hand block is some way to get it back. What a play that is by the number 71 for No Suo, Mark Furagai.
Yeah, Furagai, the Chicagoite, plays, of course, for Chronic back in the day, Machine till 2005, and Surly these days. That, of course, winning team at Great Grandmasters.
Yeah, took home the gold in Great Grandmasters and Grandmasters at WMUCC earlier in the year as Achenbach over the top bounces out of the hands of Hertel.
And again, he's the go-to target in the end zone is Ingo Hertel. Someone who's given back to the community in many ways, but says that the highlight of his entire career was starting a junior team of 7-year-olds, and 2 of those players ending up making the junior national team.
Katzenbach. Resetting to Sherwood. Sherwood's looking, that one bladed straight out of the hands and straight back to Achenbach. And finally, young legends are going to be able to punch that in. Who else but Hertel on the reception?
Well, eventually it's got to work, right, Benji?
If at first you don't succeed, try and try again and all that.
And Ingo Hertel seems to continue running around the field. See him there taking a little bit of movement of repose for that recovery. Is another look at that save from Achenbach.
It's a really nice snatch, that one.
The ageless looking Achenbach, if we can say that. Jens Achenbach has the look of a much younger man.
Yeah, you saw in there the layout hand block as well from Furagai. But eventually, the pressure told. First look downfield, and Lalgen breaks the mark into Hertel at the front of the end zone for the score.
And hello to some of the fans watching at home for Hertel. That would be his son Edouard of University of Toronto. Said he would rather be playing Ultimate than watching it, of course. And also to his other son Oscar, although he's more of a soccer fan, Benji.
I mean, it probably comes with the territory being German, much to, again, the dismay of English football fans. That shot across the end zone, looking for 4th, out of bounds. I think that is the whistle to signal the end of the game. So finish the point, add 1, and that'll be our new score cap.
So to either 10 or 11. I think we'd be out here on the sand for quite a while if young legends do manage to generate a comeback. But they are starting to understand a bit more as to what Houston want to do. Perhaps some adjustments that little bit too late though, Benji.
Raking shot across the field that, despite the bid, doesn't come through. Iman was the target, but couldn't quite get there.
She just loses her footing on this changeable surface.
Just going to get a replacement disc, the luminous pink Eurostar. Eurostar? Eurodisc. I just mixed 2 things up there, didn't I? I did, yes.
That's right, you were thinking about Beck's 4th. Her sister's doing these dynamic cuts across the pitch in front of us.
That'll be exactly it. That one scoobing over the top. Ambitious effort to try and get it downfield, but it didn't pay off on that time. But now Birgit Iman. Swinging laterally.
And again, that really, really tight dump cut. Shunk closing off all the options by being less than half a meter almost away from the thrower.
Fogner just has to hammer his way out of it, but there's no one there. 4th now downfield. Looking at options. Short on the end zone line. Will they try and get the force in? They do indeed. They thread that needle through as Steve Quach finds Tom, and that makes it 5-10 in a game to 11.
Well, we've seen Natsuo break against the wind twice so far this game. They sit 5 breaks up pretty against young legends who have been putting together some nicer upwind offenses, but again, just lacking a little bit of space, trying to fuss themselves to go up line. And the ambitious, expansive puts not quite connecting. So we see another look at that thread through the eye of the needle to Don Tom.
I think it's natural that when it's this windy, you want to keep your offense a little bit compressed because you don't necessarily back yourself to make the tougher throws. But on the other hand, you can get so close in that actually you're not giving yourself any room to work with.
Well, you'll notice when Natsuo are on offense, Benji, that they are not quite getting so close. It's giving yourself that range of ability that you know you can still throw, but without sort of clustering all together and making it just a much easier task for the defense. Because they are giving the swings. They're more than happy to make a high volume of passes for the opposition, because these wind conditions change those percentage of completions. But a foul collision there between Johnny Hock, just stroking the back of his head. Hopefully he'll be okay, colliding with Jens Schoenberg. Perhaps them going for a little kiss there, Benji.
Yeah, and saying, okay, that was obviously annoying and unfortunate, but it didn't affect play, so we can just keep the disc where it was. As a heater downfield, Katzenbach tried to catch it, in the end only tipped it further on, but got enough on it so that Hertel couldn't bring it in.
Well, that nearly became a game of catch your D's, but Katzenbach managing to put enough loft on it. So he's a specialist in using his body to box out deep shots.
Nice break flow on that far sideline. Hock, who's recovered from that knock. Husak trying to... Ooh, that was awkward because you could see the disc kind of vary its height in the wind, but laying out, Hock keeps it alive now, blading deep, pilfered and punched away by Lulgen.
Yeah, great read from Peter Lulgen.
Because if he wasn't there, that would have been game. Here's the shot downfield. Hertel reads it brilliantly. Creates that nice little backboard. It's got the swing, central. Schoenberg. Going short to Bircher. And that one just a little bit behind Hertel.
Yeah, throwing into the lap of the defense there. Now, is it going to be an upwind break to finish us off? Nope.
Not on that occasion.
A little bit too much height on that release.
Hertel, disc down by his side. Pings it in the underneath space. Schoenberg. Once that reset off, it's a little bit too close to the floor. Can't be rescued.
Yeah, Lulgen there running deep to try and prevent that big first pass.
Katzenbach with the swing in the centre to Hock. Hock continues to Sherwood. Sherwood faking the flick, redirecting traffic back to Katzenbach. Now they're trying to go down that far sideline. Underneath is Beach. Sherwood clears through. Beach, this one is always going to float out of bounds with that edge.
Was that sort of inside almost dad barbecue backhand that we saw coming out of Beach?
I think so. And just didn't get the inside-out snap on it that she would have been looking for.
Well, timeout call. And I like that one. This is turning into a long old point. We've had 3 turnovers apiece.
So we're going to take a little bit of a breather in the booth while the teams do the same on the field. But don't go anywhere, because the conclusion of this game at the World Great Grandmasters Beach Ultimate Club Championships continues on the other side.
Right now, he's going to have to bid. Oh, just a football.
huge layout block. Unbelievable stuff on the front corner of the end zone.
Maybe just that boost of energy they needed. Huge swing pass and a great grab there from Spear.
Don't want to miss anything?
So loads of tournaments happening, which you can attend either as a player or a spectator. You can find them on ulti.TV, link in the description.
Welcome back to the World Great Grandmasters Beach Ultimate Club Championships. I must admit, one of those cocktails I was thinking probably wouldn't go amiss, but I don't know. Maybe a dark and stormy?
Oh, absolutely. The clouds have rolled in, and so has the wind, gusts of 45 kilometres an hour for these teams to contend with as the Germans shoot downfield.
Off the timeout, they're going to take the swing option that Nosuo had poached. Again, continuing to work laterally. Bit of a gainer downfield there to Hertel. Hertel with a bit of blade going across the pitch. No connection there. Katzenbach picks up quickly. Trying to get the disc moving before the Young Legends defense can set. That one's a little bit behind, but there might be some contact on that release from Sherwood. So that will be Nosuo's disc still. Hock looking for the scoring shot. I'm pretty sure Sherwood wasn't the intended target, but I don't think they'll care because that gives young Nosuo the 11-5 victory over Young Legends when I can finally get my words out.
Yeah, a little pop over the top in the end. The redemption pass collected by Sherwood. It's the first time we've really seen much of a backup play. Lots of athletes out here not really being, just allowing their teammates to go to work, not being involved for that sort of, you know, perhaps a bit of a cleaning up the garbage as we see that last pass once more. It's a nice low release, but it just gets caught there. You can see it on the replay by the camera. Johnny Hock with the assist and played his latest ultimate with Surly Grandmasters, getting, of course, Grass national title and Grandmasters Beach Worlds in the same year.
So 11-5 final score here. 3 more games to come for you today. We go into the pool, the power pools we'll call them, this afternoon, but we still have 1 game left for you in the initial pool phase from Pool A. 2 sides who won their first 2 games yesterday. So this is to top the pool and take a win through into the next stage. America versus Rainbow Warriors. So very much looking forward to seeing you for that one. We're going to have a replay package to end it here, but for all of our ulti.TV crew and for Hannah Pendlebury, Benji Reese saying we'll see you on the other side.
right now. He's going to have to bid. Just a
Football!
Huge layout block. Unbelievable stuff on the front corner of the end zone.
Maybe just that boost of energy they needed. Huge swing pass and a great grab there from Steer.
The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love. Ulti.TV.
We believe mixed is the best for the sport, for the world. That's why we're making a global showcase, starting in Europe, made in Amsterdam. Ulti.TV. Ulti.net.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with Ulti.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Don't want to miss anything?
So loads of tournaments happening, which you can attend either as a player or a spectator. You can find them on ulti.TV, link in the description.
ulti.TV, BUCC lyrical.
Merci beaucoup.
ulti.TV